Welcome on the God's chosen ones. Be cautious who you ridicule in the dark, for they might be the ones in the limelight tomorrow. Let's get genuine. Life has a strange way of flipping the script when you least expect it. It's as if the cosmos has a special seat for karma. And believe me, it never misses a concert. Your enemies are currently unaware that they have been cast in a tragedy. Their collapse comes in the grand finals. This is a fact. According to studies, more than 70% of those who participate in public humiliation or sabotage experience consequences that harm their reputation. Why? Because dishonesty acts like a boomerang. It constantly comes back, often harsher than before. Your opponents felt they were outplaying you, but they didn't realize they were playing Jenga and had pulled the incorrect block. And you've been silently rising, honing your abilities, using their criticisms as fuel. You did more than simply survive. You became a force. The folks who formerly laughed at you are going to be the joke. So brace up, because what comes next is larger than vengeance. It's a surprise that leaves people dumbfounded, turning murmurs into gasps. Your triumph will not just be pleasant. It will become legendary. For starters, your adversary's downfall is structural rather than personal. Your win is not only about you. It's larger than that. Those who worked against you are not operating alone. They were part of a system intended to prevent you from ascending. Whether they were colleagues attempting to prevent your advancement, phony pals covertly pulling for your downfall, or family members who never believed in you. They weren't acting just out of personal hate. They were involved with something broader. A system that feeds on keeping some individuals trapped while enabling others to achieve. But here's the deal. That system is disintegrating, and your adversaries are going to fall with it. They believe they had power over you since they seemed to be winning at one point. They had the backing, resources, and confidence to take action against you. However, their success was based on manipulation, backroom deals, and weak relationships. It was never solid. It was never sustainable. And now, as you ascend, everything that once sheltered them is crumbling. Their relationships are deteriorating. Their impact is waning. And others who previously stood with them are now pulling away, saying they were never engaged. This is the moment when the truth is revealed, and the room's strongest voices go mute. Your adversaries believed they were untouchable because the system worked in their favor. But the system was never intended to survive. The world is evolving, the rules are changing, and they are totally unprepared. That is why the fallout will be public. That is why it will be embarrassing, since their authority was not genuine to begin with. It was borrowed, it was stolen, and now it is being taken away in front of everyone. And you were never the weaker one. You were the danger they sensed coming but couldn't stop. Now the scene is prepared, and the only thing left is for them to experience the full they never saw coming. Number 2, those who trusted in them will have to rethink everything. When your adversaries fall, it will be about more than just them. The folks who cheered them on and believed every lie they said would have to confront an unpleasant reality. They were utterly, indisputably, and shamefully incorrect. They put their confidence in someone they perceived to be strong, with control, influence, and the upper hand. However, when everything unravels, they will be forced to witness the person they supported disintegrate in front of everyone. It's not just the loss that hurts. It's the knowledge that they got everything wrong. They insulted you, disregarded you, and maybe even took part when your name was dragged through the dirt. They believed they were standing on the right side of history. But now they're scrambling to distance themselves because nothing is more humiliating than realizing you supported the losing team. Some may attempt to rewrite history, claiming they were never actually against you. Others will seek for someone new to grasp onto, seeking to align themselves with the next source of power. But deep inside, they will know the truth. They put their faith in the wrong person, and they will be unable to refute the evidence. It will not be whispered or rumored. It will be public, irrefutable, and difficult to avoid. The change will be evident. People who used to ignore you, laugh at you, or doubt you will now look at you differently. Some will be too ashamed to confront you. Others will pretend they knew you were going to succeed all along. In any case, their world is set to shift because as the individuals they once adored come apart, they are left with just one incontrovertible truth. You were correct all along. Number 3, your quiet wasn't weakness. It was a planned execution of power. Your quiet wasn't weakness. It wasn't fear. It wasn't you backing down. It was strategy. While your enemies wasted their energy trying to tear you down, you were focused on something much bigger, creating something substantial and enduring. They never saw it coming. They mistook your silence for submission. But in actuality, you were playing a lengthy game. The most feared moment has finally come. You do not even need to talk. Your achievement is speaking for you. People like them thrive on noise. They crave attention, approval, and ongoing confirmation that they're in charge. That's why they were noisy. That's why they made a show of their power, their influence, their so-called successes. But the trouble with noisy individuals is that they never know when the tides are changing. They were too busy celebrating your purported collapse to realize that the earth underneath them was crumbling. They didn't see the transition occurring, a gradual and steady reversal of fortune. And now they must face the one thing they never expected: your undeniable rise. What makes matters worse for them is that your success does not necessitate explanations, apologies, or defenses. The evidence is there. Your progress, accomplishments, and elevation. It's just too plain to ignore. And the louder they attempt to oppose it, the more ridiculous they will seem. They promoted a story about you. It's coming apart. They told falsehoods. They cannot stand up to the truth of who you are now. And the greatest part? They have no control over this moment. They can't quiet it, twist it, or control it. They felt they had won since you weren't replying. But in essence, you were letting them dig their own grave. Now they're out of words, out of moves, and out of power. Meanwhile, you stand exactly where you were meant to be. Untouched, unbothered, and unstoppable. Number 4, divine timing has a sense of drama, and it is going to astound the world. Your foes believed they were in command. They planned, plotted, and acted against you with confidence, certain that they were untouchable. They chuckled, believing they had effectively written you out of the tale. Divine time, however, was something they could never account for or control. And when divine timing intervenes, it not only alters conditions, but also produces a spectacle. This won't be a peaceful fall for them. They won't be able to brush it under the rug or deal with it behind closed doors. It is going to be public. It is going to be irrefutable. It will be dramatic, leaving no doubt that something greater was at work. The same tongues who talked against you will now be obliged to speak about your ascent. The same people who derided you will have to watch helpless as everything they believed was safe falls before their eyes. Everyone will see the poetic justice of the situation. People who watch from the sidelines, wondering whether to believe in you, will now see the truth in a manner they cannot ignore. The timing will be almost eerily precise. Just as they believed they'd won, just as they had thoroughly settled into their false feeling of security, everything began to disintegrate. The truth will be revealed at the precise time when it is most damaging. The exposure will be so precisely positioned and timed that they will be unable to avoid it. Any irony? They created the platform that will now be utilized to bring them down. You didn't need to battle them. You didn't have to hunt for retribution. You simply had to keep going, keep rising, and let time do what it does best: reveal the truth in the most undeniable manner possible. And now the world will see why they should never have come against you in the first place. Number 5, They underestimated you because they confused your depth with passivity. Your enemies thought they had you figured out. They saw your calmness as a weakness. Your silence represented surrender, and your refusal to participate in their minor battles indicated that you had already lost. They assumed that power resembled aggression. That control meant being the loudest person in the room. Real power, however, does not need an announcement. Real power moves in quiet, accumulates in darkness, and strikes when the moment is perfect. They desired your response because it would have showed they were in charge. If they could agitate you, get under your skin, and get you to lash out, they would have felt strong, but you denied them that gratification. Instead, you remained anchored, unwavering, and unshaken, which puzzled them. It made them uncomfortable because at their core, individuals like them are afraid of what they do not comprehend. What they fail to realize is that the strongest forces are often the quietest. A storm doesn't rage before it's ready. It builds, it gathers strength, and then it moves with unstoppable force. That's precisely what you've been doing. Every assault, every insult, every betrayal, they weren't breaking you. They were fueling you. You weren't passive. You were absorbing everything, turning it into wisdom, sharpening your focus while they were burning themselves out with their own noise and chaos. You were changing, becoming something bigger than they ever thought. And now the distinction is clear. While they are scattered, confused, and frantically clinging to whatever power they believe they have, you are rising with clarity, purpose, and irresistible force. They made a mistake in their calculations. They imagined you were standing motionless, but in fact you were about to move ahead. And now, as they try to figure out how you overcame them, they will be forced to confront the reality. They never had a chance. Number 6, the humiliation will not come from you. It will come from their own hands. The most devastating defeat isn't one caused by an opponent. It's the one produced by an individual's own actions. Your foes believe they were in command. They had played their game so well that nothing could stop them. But what they failed to understand was that the exact things they used to rise, the falsehoods, the manipulation, the hubris, were always going to be the same things that brought them down. They built their authority on dishonesty, stomping on others, cutting shortcuts, and fake their way to the top. And for a time it worked. But what they didn't comprehend was that when you build on a shaky foundation, collapse is inevitable. They established enemies inside their own camp. They formed allies that backed them only out of fear, not loyalty. They were so confident in their plans that they ceased being cautious. And this is the issue with hubris. It blinds you to the fractures growing just under your feet. As the weight of their own acts begins to bear down on them, they will attempt to blame everyone except themselves. But the truth will be obvious. Their betrayals will come full circle. The same individuals who destroyed others will turn on them. Their falsehoods will come up with them at the worst possible time. And when it all comes crumbling down, it will be brutally evident that they caused this to themselves. The irony: you won't need to do anything. You won't have to confront them, battle them, or seek vengeance. They laid the trap, and now they're the ones entering it. The more they strive to flee, the deeper they sink. And when the end comes, when they're standing in the ruins of all they thought they had, the only thing left for them to do is confront the one person they never anticipated to rise above them. You're number 7. The greater the betrayal, the larger the public redemption. Your downfall was not private, and neither will your recovery. When you were deceived, insulted, and left to struggle while others cheered, it was not done behind closed doors. They wanted an audience. They wanted everyone to see your suffering. That was the whole objective. The humiliation was not merely intended to harm you. It was about making a statement and letting everyone know they had one. But here's the issue with openly criticizing someone. It generates witnesses. People saw what occurred. Some remained mute. Some people joined in the laughter. Some others even joined in. But now those same folks will have no option but to watch as the whole narrative unravels. The universe is balanced in such a way that no one can escape. The same stage on which they attempted to destroy, you will now be used to showcase your triumph. The stronger the endeavor to bury you, the more dramatic the show. When you rise, the same people who watched you struggle will now see something far more powerful. Your undeniable comeback and your foes. They won't just lose in secret. They will be exposed and shorn of the illusory authority they formerly wielded. The same voices that cheered them on will go quiet. The same individuals who supported them will withdraw, saying they never knew them. Because when someone is publicly humiliated, others don't want to be linked with the consequences. Your opponents authored the first half of this tale, but they do not get to create the finale. You do, and it will not be silent. It will not be little. It will be so apparent, precisely timed, and lyrical that everyone will notice. This was more than simply chance. This was justice in its purest form. Number 8. The apologies will come, but they won't be for your benefit. When your opponents start to collapse, the same tongues that formerly spoke against you will suddenly start producing apologies. Not because they're sorry for what they did, but because they're scared of what's coming next. They will witness the change taking place, the tables changing and the earth falling under them. And in their desperation, they will attempt to rewrite history. They'll behave as if they've experienced a change of heart and now see your value. But don't be tricked. Their apologies are not intended to make things right. They prioritize self-preservation. They will approach you not with real contrition, but with carefully prepared phrases designed to defend themselves. Because they now have just one choice left: unite with you. Consider their time. Notice how they never had the fortitude to apologize when they were winning. Notice how they only admit their mistakes once their authority has dwindled. These are not individuals seeking redemption. These are individuals rushing for cover, expecting you would protect them from the storm they made. The real test is not whether they apologize, but whether you will accept their return into your life. And the answer should be clear. They're not sorry about what they did. They're sad they lost. They're sorry they underestimated you. They feel remorseful for supporting the wrong side. But they are not apologetic for the suffering they caused. Because if they had won, they would not be apologizing at all. Your strength is in seeing something for what it is. You do not need their apologies. You don't need their approval. Let them talk. Let them plead. Allow them to feel regret. But don't allow them back in. Their words may have changed, but their essence hasn't. And now it's their chance to experience what it feels like to be left out in the cold. The ninth celebration is a weapon. Use it loudly and unapologetically. Your opponents wanted you shattered, unsure, and doubting your value. Every move they took against you was meant to reduce you, to make you second think yourself, to keep you imprisoned in a cycle of silent agony. They expected you to stay silent even if you won, because silence would mean they still had power over you. But here is when you deprive them of their last sense of control. You rejoice loudly. Celebration encompasses more than simply gladness. It represents defiance. It is resistance to all lies. They talked over you, insulted you, and made you feel tiny. When you rejoice, you accomplish what they dreaded the most. You totally embrace your power. Fearless, unabashed, and unstoppable. However, this is more than just proving a point. This is about undoing the damage they attempted to leave behind. Their attacks were not solely about external circumstances. They were directed at your spirit. They wanted you to believe you were unworthy. They wanted you to equate success with guilt, as if you hadn't earned it. That's why your delight has to be loud. That is why your thankfulness must be visible. Because each time you rejoice, you deconstruct the fake world they attempted to construct for you. Let them watch. Let them seethe. Make them regret every effort to break you. Your delight is not just yours. This is a declaration, a reminder to everyone who has ever been pushed down that they too deserve to rise. For a long time, your opponents had complete control over the narrative. Now it's up to you to tell the narrative, and you tell it with laughter, with success, with boldness, because your existence is flourishing and free is the precise thing they intended to avoid. Number 10, therefore, will be a lesson for others. Watching your journey was never just about you. Every assault, every betrayal, every setback you faced wasn't simply watched by those who wanted to see you fail. It was also viewed by many who were battling in their own struggles, questioning whether justice was genuine. There were those silently watching, wondering whether truth still reigns, if hard labor pays off, and if the wicked genuinely suffer repercussions. And now, your triumph and your adversary's defeat will serve as convincing evidence. No one can stop fate. Witnessing justice being carried out is powerful. People who saw your mistreatment, watched as you were pushed aside, and heard the falsehoods circulated about you. They needed to know how the tale ended, because your tale is not just personal. This is a message to everyone waging wars in silence and wondering whether they should give up. A message to people who have been mistreated, mocked, or undervalued. Your ascent encourages them to keep going. Their fall teaches them that the wicked do not escape forever. Your adversaries believed they were untouchable, that their deception would never catch up with them. However, when their world falls, it will be more than embarrassing for them. It will serve as a warning to those like them. People would think twice before attempting to damage someone who did nothing except mind their own affairs. They will recall what happened to those who attempted to prevent what was supposed to be. Your enemies are not simply falling. They are becoming an example of what happens when you confront the wrong individual. And for others who are still suffering, your tale will serve as proof that no assault, treachery, or setback can wipe out what God has planned for them. They will see you standing where no one expected you to be, and they will comprehend that if justice comes for you, it will also come for them. At number 11, your next move will be more powerful than your last win. Your opponents mistook your win for the finish line. They imagined that once you ascended, you would be pleased just proving them incorrect. But they don't understand this isn't your peak. This was only the beginning. While they're still reeling from their public humiliation, you're already moving on. By the time they even consider reprisal, you'll be so far ahead that they'll be out of your sight. This is where most individuals make blunders after a significant victory. They slow down. They celebrate for too long. They believe the war is finished. But genuine power isn't in winning. It's gaining momentum. You don't just vanquish your opponents. You outgrow them to the point where they are irrelevant. They wanted to be the focus of your tale. But your next move will make it quite evident that they were never the major characters. While they struggle with the aftermath of their own demise, you will rise to heights they never dreamed. New possibilities, partnerships, and degrees of success will arise not because you won, but because you remained active. And nothing will irritate them more than realizing that their best efforts to destroy you only made you stronger, sharper, and more untouchable. The ultimate penalty for your adversaries is not only their ruin. It's seeing you climb above their grasp. It's recognizing that no matter what they did, you were never reliant on their acceptance, support, or demise. Your power was always yours. So do not slow down. Let your next step be the one that cements the reality. Your opponents were just background noise in a tale that was never about them in the first place. Number 12. They didn't just lose to you. They succumbed to the truth. Your foes did not just lose to you. They lost to something much greater than you. They lost to the truth itself. This was never just a personal fight. It's never simply about winning and losing. This was about the impending collapse of everything based on lies, manipulation, and deception. They were certain they could outmaneuver the truth. They believed they could rewrite reality, manipulate the narrative, and alter the universe to suit their illusion. But what they didn't realize was that truth is unbeatable. It may take time. It may appear buried for a time, but it never remains concealed. And as it rises, it does not simply disclose itself. It exposes everything untrue that opposed it. The shame is not just about their failure. It is about dispelling every illusion they have manufactured. The individuals who once believed in them, who followed them blindly, who aided them with their plots, they are all seeing the truth now. The falsehoods they used to elevate themselves revealed the false image they had created, shattering the power they believed was permanent. Gone. This is the portion that will bother them the most. This was their own doing. They had several opportunities to stand on the right side of the truth, to create something tangible, and to behave with integrity. But they chose lying, believing it was the route to power. Now that shortcut has taken them directly to their demise. You didn't need to fight nasty. You did not need to influence, lie, or destroy. All you had to do was stand solid in the truth and let time do the rest. And now, when their phony world crashes around them, they'll learn too late that this wasn't simply a fight with you. It was a war with reality itself. And no one, no matter how smart, can overcome the truth. Number 13, the tables did not just turn. They flipped forever. Your adversaries may believe that this is merely a terrible season, a transitory blunder, or a brief setback from which they may recover. However, this is not a random occurrence. It is a thorough reorganization. The tables did not just turn. They flipped so violently that the whole game altered. There's no going back. Some individuals believe that they can manage their way back into power, and that if they wait long enough, the tides will change in their favor. However, fate does more than merely rearrange the pieces. It permanently removes from the board of directors the positions they formerly had, the power they once wielded, and the privileges they once abused. No amount of plotting, reputation, damage control, or desperate alliances can make up for what has been stolen away from them. They will not just strive to get back up. They'll discover there's no more ladders to climb. The access they had previously refused. They have lost their supporters. The doors that were originally wide open were forever closed. And this is the most agonizing part. They'll have to watch you flourish in places they thought they'd shut you out of. They will have to accept that while they spent their time attempting to ruin you, you were changing, expanding, and becoming unstoppable. This is what occurs when individuals believe they can manipulate destiny, that they are immune to repercussions, and that they can climb via deceit without ever falling. However, heavenly alterations are irreversible. They did not just lose a fight. They lost their position, influence, and control for good. Number 14, your greatest reward will not be their downfall. You will have an unstoppable future. Your enemy's defeat may feel satisfying, but that is not your true prize. Your genuine prize is not their shame. This is your unstoppable future. It was never about vengeance. It was never about getting even. It was always about stepping into the life that was destined for you, no longer held back by those who attempted to prevent it. Their ruin is only a side consequence of your advancement. The true win is the freedom, power, and endless options that you now have. You're no longer fighting to prove yourself. You're no longer expending energy defending yourself against their lies. You are free to create, expand, and embrace everything that was always intended for you. Here's the irony. While they're dealing with the mess they made, you'll be too busy thriving to look back. They spent all their time concentrated on trying to pull you down, but now they don't even matter. Their existence, their opinions, their position irrelevant. They felt they were the gatekeepers to your success, but your success was never in their hands to begin with. What's coming for you now is greater than their ruin. It's about influence and power. It is recognition. It's the ability to move in places they never imagined you'd go. They spent so much time trying to keep you small, but you are now unstoppable. And it is the ultimate, obvious truth. It was never about them. It was always about winning so totally that their presence is no longer relevant. The tale has been changed, and you're now the author. Every assault, treachery, and lie they attempted to hold you down has failed spectacularly. The tables did not just turn. They shattered under the weight of truth. And now you stand in the very place they swore you'd never reach. Not just victorious, but completely untouchable. But here's what truly makes this moment powerful. Your victory was never about them. Their fall was inevitable, but it was never the goal. The real triumph is who you became in the process. The resilience you built, the wisdom you gained, the strength that no attack can ever shake again. Your opponents believed they were writing your conclusion, but they were really fueling your change. And now, while they're drowning in the consequences of their own choices, you are rising not just to win, but to dominate. This isn't just the end of an old chapter. It's the beginning of an era where you no longer play small, where your success isn't questioned, and where your presence commands the respect it always deserved. So let them watch. Allow them to feel regret. Let them fade into the background of a story that was never theirs to control. Because the truth has spoken. The transformation is lasting and the future ahead. It belongs to you. If this message connected with you, if you felt that change deep in your soul, then don't keep it to yourself. Hit the subscribe button so you never miss another strong message like this video to let the world know that you're declaring your triumph. Drop a comment below and tell me how this spoke to you. I want to hear your story and, more importantly, share it with someone who needs to hear it. You never know who is about to make a breakthrough. Let us share this enthusiasm. Let us establish this community and continue to grow, since this is just the beginning. Dear viewers, your support through Super Chat and membership is the only source of income that keeps this channel running. If you want me to continue uploading valuable content without delays and to stay motivated in providing you with the best wisdom, I need your help. Every contribution, big or small, makes a huge difference. Feel free to donate and support Pure Wisdom so we can keep growing together. Your generosity keeps this journey alive. Thank you for being part of this amazing community. If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, you not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.